Today we're going to make this great and simple recipe for pasta salad featuring Nature's Sweet Cherubs tomatoes, fresh basil, and bocconcini cheese. So let's get started. The ingredients for our salad begins with some cooked pasta. Now here I have a orecchiette pasta, which has been cooked in some boiling salted water until it's al dente, and then refreshed in cold water, allowed to cool, tossed with a little bit of olive oil, and then refrigerated until it sets. I also have the Cherubs tomatoes, which we'll be discussing more in a minute. I have some mini bocconcini. If you can't get your hands on these, you can use a small mozzarella and cut it into cubes. That would be a substitute for that. And I also have some fresh basil. Those are the main ingredients for our salad today. My pan has already been heating up a little bit, so it's nice and warm. And we'll pour into that pan about 3 or 4 tablespoons of the olive oil. And I like to use a really nice extra virgin olive oil for this recipe. Really helps bring out the flavors of the Cherubs tomatoes and the basil and the bocconcini. So choose a nice olive oil when you're going to make this dish. The idea here is to heat the olive oil up. We'll give it a little bit more. Heat the olive oil up so that we can infuse the flavor of the garlic and the chilies into the oil, and then we'll add the other ingredients. But we don't want to heat it so much that it smokes. So pay attention to the heat. And we'll start by putting the garlic in first. And the idea is it should sizzle. Now I can hear that sizzling a little bit, and you can see as well that sizzling. I don't want it to brown, so I'll pull that off the heat and just really sort of let that infuse. In this recipe, I also like to add the chilies now, so I'm actually making an infusion of garlic and chilies. And careful on the chilies, you can always add more later, but once you've added too many, this dish will turn out too spicy. So I go pretty easy on the chili flakes and just infuse those two flavors together into the olive oil to start. So I've got chopped anchovies here, so off the heat now. I'll just go ahead and add those chopped anchovies to the pan. We have capers. Some like to chop them up, some like to leave them whole. For this particular recipe, we're going to leave these capers whole. And we'll also go ahead and add a little bit of this balsamic vinegar. Now you can use a white or golden balsamic vinegar to make this, or if you didn't have that, I suppose you could even use a sherry vinegar or champagne vinegar would be okay as well. We'll just stir those ingredients together. So the next step in completing this dish will be to combine the ingredients together. And I love these salads that have a warm vinaigrette together with cold ingredients. It really makes for a delicious flavor combination. So the warm ingredients go straight into a mixing bowl. Here's our orecchiette pasta. So I'm going to say 3 servings of pasta here. And then we have the Nature's Sweet Cherubs tomatoes here. And normally these tomatoes you eat whole. They're perfect size for eating whole. However, when we made this dish, I decided that it would be really nice to just cut them in half just once crosswise here so that you can see the beautiful firm interior of these tomatoes, and it also sort of matches the size of the pasta that we've selected for this recipe. Now, of course, you can choose a different size of pasta for this, but in any event, I think if we cut these in half, they're still intact enough, and they look beautiful, and we can see the beautiful interior of these tomatoes. So I have a lot of them here. So I'm going to use about twice as many of these tomatoes as for the amount of pasta I have in this bowl. So lots of tomatoes, not so much pasta. Toss those ingredients. Now again, you know, whenever you're tossing these ingredients, try not to stir, just sort of gently mix the ingredients together. And then we have our mini bocconcini here. Now, traditionally, these are made with buffalo milk, but more often than not, you get these made with cow's milk, which is perfectly fine. If you wanted to add more flavor to those, you could actually marinate those in a little olive oil and maybe some chilies and garlic the day before, and then make this salad. Okay. Mix those in, and then we have fresh basil in season here. Basil and tomatoes have this great affinity for each other, and rather than chopping it up with a knife, I like to tear it and add it to the salad just like that. We'll season with some salt and black pepper. There's some black pepper. You can always add more, so I'm cautious there, and the same with the salt. Here's some salt. Don't forget we have anchovies in there which are already salty, so you don't want to add too much salt. And then we can go ahead and toss the ingredients for this pasta salad together. Now, because we're using a warm vinaigrette, I would not refrigerate this. This isn't something I would necessarily make in advance. I like to have all the ingredients ready in advance, but then sort of make this and serve it soon afterwards, so that you still have a little bit of the warmth of that vinaigrette in there. Now, this is a great shared item. This is something you can put on the table, family style. I think it's a great salad. It's a beautiful summer salad. Now, these tomatoes are ripe and available all year long. That makes it really easy to make this salad any time of the year. I think the flavors in here are exceptional, and I hope you like it too.